my inky friends. It's Cindy Lynn with My Inky Fingers. Thank you so much for joining me today on my YouTube channel and blog. If you're new here and you like my video, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. It really does help out my channel. So for today's card, I wanted to celebrate 4th of July. I'm going to tell you a little bit here about when I lived in the United States in a little bit into the video. But yeah, you guys go over the top, definitely for 4th of July. So I've got a piece of thick Whisper white cardstock here, and I cut that down to 7 by 8.5. And then I'm going to show you how I scored that. Now, I used regular Whisper White cardstock, and I did cut two pieces that are 8 3/8 by 6 7/8. So there's where I'm going to score it down at the 3.5. Now, when you're scoring, use the small end of your stylus for thick cardstock and the fat end for regular cardstock. So as you can see there, I've got my little eighths of space around my cards. You can cut it to whatever you like. I know a lot of people like a quarter, but I like I like it to be a little slimmer around the actual mat. So now I'm going to use the largest and the second largest squares out of these stitched shapes dies, and I'm going to cut one of each out of all three of these. I've got the shimmer cardstock, the blue, which I use Night of Navy, and the red, which is Real Red. So I'm just going to kind of arrange those. Now I'm going to play a little bit here and just kind of, I drew out a little sketch, but of course, as you know, when you're making the card, things don't always end up looking exactly like your sketch. So I had thought I wanted to use this here out of these stitched stars dies, but I got thinking and I thought it's just going to disappear into the paper. So I ended up cutting this out in the blue, the red, and the glitter paper because I wanted those little stars on the insides to be different colors. So I'm just going to lay this on my card right now just to see kind of where I want that to lay. And then I'm going to pull out a whole bunch of other stars from these stitched stars just to kind of lay them out and see where I wanted everything to go. Now this is funny because this is the second card I've made with this set, and this set is intended to be for Christmas, I guess, and I've yet to even make a Christmas card with it. So this is one of those sets that you can make so many different kinds of cards with this. I love it. Now that I've got those all kind of laid out, I'm looking at them going, okay, what colors do I want each of the stars to be on each of the perspective little blocks, right? So I'm going to use all three of the colors that we've started with, the shimmer, glitter, and unfortunately I wanted that star, and it was, my little scrap piece was a little small, so cut out the other one. And then I'm just using all the scraps here, guys, and they're all scraps from my drawer. I mean, I didn't have to cut up any cardstock for this, so I keep all my scraps in with all my regular cardstock. I'll put a link up below to my studio tour so you can see those. So I'm just going to glue these down, and I'll tell you really quick a little bit about when I lived in the States. Back in 2001, it seems like a lifetime ago, I married an American, and I moved to Seattle. And unfortunately, he passed away less than 2 years later. So I stayed in the States, though. I stayed in Washington for quite some time. And then at some point, related to another business I had in the past, I moved to Las Vegas. And I was there for a year. And, you know, I missed my family. And I'm Canadian, and all my family's from Canada. So I ended up coming back home to Canada in 2009. So I've been a little bit over 10 years here. But I have to say, to all of my American subscribers, you guys know how to rock it for 4th of July. You guys are so patriotic. I mean, flags and just all the things that you do to show your patriotism, is that the word? How patriotic you are. It just warms my heart. I mean, Canadians, I love being Canadian, and Canadians are great, but we just don't go over the top like you guys do. So kudos to you. I miss my 4th of July parties for sure. So I definitely wanted to honor all my American subscribers and make a 4th of July card for you guys. So I'm going to pull out the itty bitty birthday, because it's time to celebrate. If you're American, you know what I mean. It is a celebration. I mean, it starts in the morning and it goes to the next morning sometimes. I've been there, done that. So nevertheless, it's good. I'm going to put "It's Time to Celebrate" on here. Now I'm going to adhere these down. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to have the "It's Time to Celebrate" stamped right on my card. And I made a boo-boo. I goofed it. So you know what? Every mistake is another reason to layer. So I'm going to show you what I did to layer it. Now, as you can see here, I'm adhering each corner piece down first because you know me, I don't got time to measure like ticks and minus this and how much is that divided by this divided by 3 to the square root of whatever. No, 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 no. I don't have time for that. So I just put the corners down first and then I put the center one in and it is completely eyeballed and I'm happy with it. When it's perfect, it is not homemade anymore. This isn't Hallmark. This is homemade, right? So here's the beginning of my problem. So I put this in here and I did stamp it on my laminated graph paper that I printed on some acetate, right? Because I wanted my sentiment to be straight and I didn't have a problem getting the sentiment straight. But just in case you haven't seen this method before, you just stamp it on the acetate, pull everything out, line up that acetate onto your card, stick everything back in the corner there. Well, not the card. You're going to put the acetate into the corner. The card ends up wherever it is to make it straight, right? Now I'm thinking, do I want to change the color? And I kind of wish I had because maybe this wouldn't have happened. The exclamation mark and my ink in the corner and just the way I pressed it. But you know what? I'm pretty happy that with the way the card turned out. So I wasn't terribly disappointed about this. It's one of those things where you're off to the races and then your horse has to stop for water. You know what I mean? It's like, I wasn't anticipating this. I wasn't planning on this. So I'm going to re-ink this, stamp it back up. Not a problem. Got that done. I'm going to pull out that mini trimmer. And in case you're not aware, this was a promotion if you signed up during celebration. And of course, demos were allowed to order it. So you can't actually order this anymore. Unfortunately, I wish they had a big one. Stampin' Up used to have a big guillotine trimmer. And I love guillotine trimmers, but nevertheless. So now I'm just going to trim this up. I trimmed it there on the trimmer. I'm just going to snip the ends off. And then I was going to put it on that little skinny piece of glitter paper I cut out, but it was too skinny when I ended up cutting out this too skinny. Is there such a thing as too skinny? Anyway, so I pulled out that scrap piece so that I could get a little more glitter border around there. And then it'll cover up my mistake, right? So I'm going to trim the end off here and then I'm going to show you how I flag it. And I just take my snips and I go right up the center and then from the corner to the center of that cut and then the other corner and bada bing, bada bam. It had to be flagged. I mean, it's an American 4th of July card. You know, I was going to try to do a flag card actually because see all these little stars and stuff I've got over to the side? And then I thought, oh, I don't know if I have the patience to try to put 52. Oh, my American subscribers are going to be like, Cindy Lynn, I don't know, is it 52? I can't remember how many stars are on the flag. I know there's one maple leaf on the Canadian flag, so do I get brownie points for that? So all I did was use a little bit of glue in the centers and the tips of the stars. And I started to put some glue on that piece there. And I was like, there's so many levels here, you know, with the dimension. And I wanted it to stick. So I cheated and I pulled out my Aleene's spray and I gave it 2 little spritzes and it was good to go. So now I don't want to waste all these extra pieces that I cut out. And I'm going to show you, for those of you that are new or may not have seen it in another video, I'm going to show you how to store all of your extra little die pieces, all those stars and all the little pieces that we cut out. So I'm going to take this red one and you see there on the end, like I didn't die cut it right, the little swirl on the end. So it just ended up going perfectly right there along the piece of paper. I would have cut it out anyway. So nobody will ever know that I didn't even die cut that right. So again, in the itty bitty birthdays, I thought that this was the perfect sentiment to go on the inside of this card. And again, I was like, oh, do I want to emboss this? Now, I decided not to and just go with black, but I stamped it there on my grid paper because I just wanted to make sure that I had my stamp on my sticker on the stamp straight and the way that it was going to stamp was straight. And my sticker was straight, so I'm good. But I mean, have you ever done that? Not put your sticker on straight and had to like trim it because trying to get it off is crazy. The undo totally works. And I'll tell you, of all those new stamp sets I just got in all my unboxings, I stuck one of my stickers on the wrong stamp. It was a sentiment, or no, it was a balloon. It was the balloon out of the happy, the happy set. I can't remember what it's called right now. But I stuck the solid on the patterned, and the pattern, oh my gosh, it was a mess. So I had to use my undo. So nevertheless, I'm going to just piece in all those little pieces from, because of course we cut out 3 of those colors, right? So I'm going to put some of the shimmer in there, or glitter paper. Now, you know what? Stampin' Up! Is completely done away with anything with glitter, in case you guys noticed. And I did mention it before, but if you missed where I mentioned it, they're trying to do their part for the environment. So anything with glitter is gone. So my heart is broken. I mean, I'm all for the environment, but are you with me? A girl needs some glitter in her life. I mean, come on, right? So I guess now we're going to have to just rely on the mica and those kind of shimmers and whatnot, right? So I got my glue all on there, and I stuck it down to the inside of my card. And I thought, you know what? Let's use up some more of these stars here, and I'm going to show you how I store those. Oh, I gotta tell you guys, I have paused this video to let my dog in or out of this room, my Shih Tzu, 3 times. So my train of thought is completely gone. I don't know if you can tell or not. Anyhow, storing all these extra pieces, I use the 6x8 cellophane bags, and any little piece that I think is worth saving, like all of those extra little pieces you just saw me put in there, they would make for a great little shaker card or something on a party card. You know what I mean? So I store them all, and I just slip them right there in the back of my CD case, so I always know exactly where all of my dies are, and it doesn't take up any extra real estate on the shelf whatsoever. So I did pull out the frosted clear epoxies, and I'm going to put them on the very left hand side of this card on the shimmer. And then I noticed on my photo, I took them off. I made this card a week and a half ago. I took them off. Don't know why. Don't know what I was thinking, but I took them off. Nevertheless, there you go. So happy 4th of July to all of my American subscribers. I hope you all stay safe during your celebrations. And until I see you again, take care and happy stamping.